Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
You're listening to House of Cards.
Today, the game is different.
I want to gamble. Gambling is a very serious business. Is that clear?
Welcome to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you here, deep from the swamps of Jersey. We got a great show coming up for you. Gambling has been around since this country has started, and women have played an important role in the growth of the gambling industry. And now a new book has documented the role women have played in the gambling business of this country. It's called That Expletive Broad, and it's written by gaming attorney Jennifer Gaynor. Coming up, we're going to talk with Jennifer about the early female pioneers of gambling in this country all the way up to the present day. It's an incredible book about the women in the world of gambling and casinos. So stick around. We'll be right back with House of Cards. Hey, this is Dave Weishuttle from House of Cards with your House of Cards gaming report for the week of June 10th, 2024. Nevada's gaming revenue had a record-setting April. The Silver States casinos reported more than $1.2 billion in revenue for the month, which is a 7% increase from this time last year. April was the 38th consecutive month that Nevada's gaming revenue exceeded $1 billion. According to the Gaming Control Board, the revenue boost was largely from the Las Vegas Strip casinos, where gaming revenue rose by 6.62% from last year. This country's iGaming revenue in the 7 states where online casinos are legal added up to over $653 million. This is a 27.2% increase from April of 2023, when iGaming revenue was $475.7 million. Michigan, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania accounted for $554.2 million of that total amount, with the newest state, Rhode Island, reporting $2.1 million in internet casino revenue in its very first month of operation. And finally, WSOP's new online poker platform is up and running, and with the Michigan Gaming Control Board giving the okay, the platform has a player pool from Michigan, Nevada, and New Jersey. WSOP became the first online poker site to pool players from 3 jurisdictions. Have any news or tips regarding casinos, gaming, or legislation? Send us an email at newsroom@houseofcardsradio.com and follow us on X at HOC Radio.
You're listening to the House of Cards.
Lose track of time in those casinos. There's no windows, there's no clocks, and you never walk away from the table when you're on a heater.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you. Gambling has been a part of this country since it was founded, and women have played a crucial role in the growth of gambling. A great new book has documented the stories of some of these incredible women that broke barriers and helped shape the gambling business today. The book is titled That Expletive Broad, and I want to talk to the author right now, gaming attorney Jennifer Gaynor. Jennifer, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Dave.
I got to tell you, first, I love the title of your book, That Expletive Broad. How did that become the title of your book?
That's actually one of my favorite stories about the book. So as I was researching the various women that I was going to feature in the book, one of them, named Deborah Nutton, she was one of the first women to be a craps dealer on the Las Vegas Strip. And at a very early age, she became a pit boss at a strip casino, and some of the gentlemen that she worked with were less than thrilled that she was there. And so they would refer to her as that blank broad, something that, for a while was a bit of a challenge for her. She actually hid in the ladies' room during, break time to avoid seeing these men in the break room. But eventually she went on, like I said, to become a very young pit boss. And then she went on to be, a top executive for MGM and the Wynn, and had a stunning career in the gaming industry.
I've never read a book like this, and it was so great to read about the women in gambling. I mean, what inspired you to write this book?
Well, as you know, I've been a gaming attorney here in Las Vegas for more than 15 years. And, year after year, you go to the gaming conferences. I know you've been there.
Sure.
And you see lots of what we call manels, And that's, panels consisting mostly of men. And so I was at a gaming conference a couple of years ago, and, I was flipping through, looking at what our panels would be that day, and I saw manel after manel, and, it was a little bit disheartening. But then I looked around the room, and I saw some amazing women in gaming, women like Sandra Douglas Morgan, who was then the chair of the Nevada Gaming Control Board, my good friend Ellen Whittemore, who is now general counsel at the WIN, and I realized there was a lot of kick-ass women in that room. And there had been throughout the history of gaming, and I really wanted to make sure that their stories were told and shared.
I think it's great how you organized your book, too. You took us from the early days of gambling through corporate America and then with the women who worked in government and regulation. I especially love the story of the women in the early days of gambling because I have to admit, when I think of the Wild West and the card rooms west of the Mississippi, I really don't think of women in the gambling business. But there were several. I mean, for example, you have the story of Lottie Deno, who was incredibly interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about Lottie and some of the other women who were literally the real pioneers of women in gambling in this country?
Yeah, Lottie, she was a great story. So she was, she had a very privileged childhood upbringing. Her father was a plantation owner, and he also raised race horses. But he had two daughters. He had no sons. So when he went on business trips, he would take Lottie with him often. And he was a gambler. So he would take her with him to the casinos in New Orleans, New York, even over in Europe. And along the way, he taught her how to play. So she actually, at a very young age, as a teenager, became a bit of a card shark. And this actually came in super handy for her when her father unfortunately perished. He was fighting in the Civil War, and he actually died, I think, in the first battle he fought in. So that left her mother with two daughters and a plantation to run at a time when it was hard to, find men to come in and work on their plantation. So her family sent her off to the city, to Detroit, hoping that where they had family friends, hoping that she could find a man to marry who she could then bring back and could run the plantation for the family. But of course, that's not what Lottie did. She went to Detroit. She went on the party circuit, and then she started gambling at card rooms and playing poker, and realized that she could make a lot of money doing that. Actually, enough money that she was able to support her mother and her sister with the proceeds she won from gambling. And then she went on to, have a very stellar career in the gambling industry.
Another part of the book I found really enlightening, because I've really never thought of it that way, were the women who actually owned casinos. And one of those inspirational stories you document was the incredible life of Sarah Ann Knight Preddy. I mean, tell us a little bit about her, because she impacted Las Vegas, she impacted the gambling business, and she was really influential even outside of the gambling business.
She was. Sarah Ann Knight Preddy, she's a very inspirational figure here in Las Vegas, especially in the African-American community. She started off as the dealer in the card rooms in the segregated west side of Las Vegas. And I actually really enjoyed getting the opportunity to write about the west side and how Las Vegas, once upon a time was segregated. So you would have famous African Americans who could perform on the Strip, but they couldn't stay in the Strip casinos. So there was actually a really active after-party nightlife on the West Side, where a lot of these performers, African American and white alike, would come and spend their time after hours, gambling in the casinos and the gaming parlors on the West Side.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side.
If you don't have final expense life insurance, this message is for you. LifeCare provides valuable information about whole life insurance to help cover final expenses, medical bills, burial costs, and other final expenses. A final expense life insurance policy is fast and available to anyone between the ages of 50 and 80. No medical exam, no lengthy questionnaires, and no waiting period. Just answer a few questions and we'll do the rest. With the average funeral costing $9,420 and Social Security only paying $255, you need simple peace of mind for you and your whole family. Don't leave behind unpaid expenses. Your premium will never increase. Your policy will have a cash value and a death benefit that can never decrease. To find out how you can get final expense life insurance with a lifetime lock, call 800-601-9488. That's 800-601-9488.
The bathroom of your dreams is only a phone call away with BCI Bath and Shower. We can make your ordinary bath and shower extraordinary. This is not a cookie-cutter design. This is a complete custom build that will fit your every need. It's never been easier or more affordable than right now to get the bathroom of your dreams. We have the best monthly programs in the industry with payments as low as $99 per month or no payments, no interest for 18 months with approved credit. The hardest part of your new bathroom is gutting and building the tub and shower. If your bathing area is old, there could be damage behind the walls and possible mold and mildew, which can be a serious safety issue. At BCI, we don't cover a problem, we fix it. Call now to get a never-clean glass-treated door with the no-track system at half off for the first 50 callers. Factory-trained, certified installers made in the USA and discounts for seniors and military. Call 800-755-0466. That's 800-755-0466.
You're listening to House of Cards.
Where was the house? Where was the house of cards?
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you here. House of Cards is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. For those of you just joining us, I am talking with gaming attorney and author of That Expletive Broad, Jennifer Gaynor. Sorry about that. Radio has to do its business, you know. Why don't you continue what you were saying before the break?
But anyway, that's where she started off working in the gaming industry because it was a very difficult time for her as a Black woman to find, you know, a career elsewhere in Las Vegas where it was segregated. And she went on to become the first woman to get a gaming license in the state of Nevada. And, you know, she took that experience and she became involved with the NAACP and, you know, civil rights groups in Las Vegas and across Nevada. And she did a lot to advance African-American people. Yeah, for one, she ran for office. You know, she was the first female African-American to win a primary running for city council in Las Vegas. She ended up not winning. She went out of politics, decided it wasn't for her, and she went back to, you know, what she knew, which was gaming and running other businesses. You know, she was quite an entrepreneur and quite an inspiration for many.
You know, I found that aspect incredibly interesting. I was wondering, I mean, was it just the prejudice of Nevada at that time to keep her away from certain areas of the gaming business, or was it the laws of Nevada really keeping the women, especially Sarah Ann, down? Because, you know, she wasn't allowed to work certain places, yet she was allowed to have a casino license, and she owned a casino. What was going on there?
Well, that was in northern Nevada, you know, versus in Las Vegas, where there were various rules and ordinances. You know, for example, they after she had become a dealer, they came up with an ordinance, you know, prohibiting women from being dealers in strip casinos in the city of Las Vegas. And, that was, I think, prompted because a lot of, women at the time, they saw their men going off to casinos and gambling. And if there were female dealers, they were afraid they would lead the men astray and tempt them to gamble even more and perhaps cheat on them. So, women as dealers, women in the casinos working, were very much frowned upon by society. So that was something that she had to overcome, in addition to, the general segregation of Las Vegas at the time.
It seems that one of the areas in the casino and gambling business that women are underrepresented is at the executive level, but there are women who did achieve incredible success at the executive level. I mean, one of the women I was thinking of, and you documented in the book, was Virginia McDowell. Tell us a little something about her and the other women that have reached very successful levels in the gambling business at the executive level.
Yeah, and a lot of times, I found one thing I found interesting when I was writing this book was, I think in a lot of cases it was never an intention, to become an executive in the gaming industry. Virginia McDowell, for example, she started off, as a journalism student, working in radio and television. But then she saw that gaming was introduced in, your hometown, New Jersey, and wanted to get involved in the industry at the very beginning. So she sent out, because she had become an expert in marketing and, TV and radio, and that was her major in college, was journalism. She was attracted to marketing directors at gaming properties, I believe it was the Tropicana, and they hired her to do marketing, and that's how she got into the gaming industry. But she ended up meeting some men along the way who were really mentors to her and taught her a lot about the actual operational side of gaming. And brought her along, one of the first major things she did was taking over a struggling gaming company, Argosy Gaming, and turning it around. And I think one of the ways she was able to do that was she had a very hands-on approach. So she would go down to the casino floor, she would talk to customers, she would, be very interested in what they liked, what they didn't like, what they wanted to see, and found ways to really make it a better experience for customers, and thus made, casinos more successful. And someone who knew her from her time at Argosy, when the Isle of Capri CEO position became available, really lobbied for her to be interviewed for the position because they knew what a great job she could do. And that's how that came to be about.
I was reading that Expletive Broad, your great book, here in New Jersey at the perfect time, I think, because the big story that broke about a month and a half ago was that Caesars Entertainment named Jacqueline Gray Senior Vice President and General Manager of the Tropicana Casino in Atlantic City. Now, with that hire, it means that 4 of the 9 Atlantic City casinos were run by women, the other 3 being Melanie Johnson at the Borgata, Terry Glabaki at Ocean Resort, and Carrie Hall at Bally's. And that really made me think, because I was reading that section when I saw the news story break, and I was thinking, I was like, is New Jersey doing well in comparison to other states that have casinos? In your opinion, is that ratio or percentage keeping pace with other gaming markets across the country?
Oh, certainly. I think that's, great strides being made in New Jersey right now. But, this time with the pandemic, it's actually been a very challenging time for women in the workforce generally, in the gaming industry in particular. Where, gaming and hospitality is one of the industries that was very hard hit by the pandemic. And you look at some of the news stories coming out, talking about how this is having a outsized impact on women, that they're, leaving the workforce at, 4 times the rate that men are. So this makes it a very important time for women to be having these executive roles in the gaming industry and really keeping a hold of the progress that women have made in the gaming industry, to become these executives. But we also have to be very careful that we don't lose women at all levels of gaming, because, you're not going to be able to have women in these executive roles if you don't have the pipeline at the lower levels leading up to that. So, I think this is a great time for this book and the messages in the book about the importance of women in the gaming industry, and for gaming companies to really pay attention to make sure they're continuing to feed that pipeline.
Well, I'm curious. You mentioned it. I mean, are there gaming companies right now doing more to promote women and diversity in the workplace, especially at the executive level?
There definitely are, gaming companies that are working very hard to do that. And some of that is, prompted by some of the women in my book, who have become executives and are doing a lot to help women. And the Global Gaming Women organization, I think, has played a very important role in promoting that throughout the years. MGM's always had they took an early stance, and Caesars as well, and making sure that this was a priority for them. You see places like, the Wynn, where, they were kind of in a lot of trouble when it came to, misogyny and how women were treated in that workforce not that long ago, as we all famously know, with the cases against Steve Wynn. And they've had a major turnaround in their representation of women on their board, and putting Ellen Whittemore, choosing her to be the general counsel for the Wynn. So, there's definitely companies in Las Vegas and in the gaming industry that are doing really good things in this area.
I want to ask you about the women who became the regulators who oversee the gambling activity in the state. And the one person I was going to bring up, you actually already brought up, Sandra Douglas Morgan. I found it amazing that a woman with such incredible knowledge of the gaming industry and gaming law, when the governor of Nevada called her up to be chair of the Nevada Gaming Control Board, she thought he was calling her to ask about the retirement of another board member, which I found that an absolutely mind-blowing story. I mean, tell us a little bit about Sandra Douglas Morgan.
She's incredibly smart, incredibly polished, but, one of the most modest people I've ever met. When I actually initially approached her at a Global Gaming Women event to interview her for the book, she was like, "Me? Are you sure?" She's like, "I've only been chair for less than a year. I haven't accomplished that much." And I had to tell her, Sandra, just by virtue of being the chair of the Gaming Control Board, the second female and the first African-American chair of the board, just by being you and being in that position, you've accomplished quite a lot for women in the gaming industry. But yeah, and then when I was interviewing her, she was talking about how she really preferred getting involved in the operation of being the board chair and the policy of it. And I pointed out how important it was for me personally as a woman in the industry to see her speaking at gaming conferences and to see her up there as a role model and someone that women could aspire to be was extremely important. And she said, I really never thought about that, how important it was for me to be there, to be in the room, to be up there speaking. So she said, I'm going to make sure that I focus on doing that a lot more, because throughout her experience, she had women, at the MGM that she worked with, for example, who were inspirational role models and positions and executive positions that she could look up to. And, she brought up the quote, you have to see it to be it. And I think that's very true. Plus, she had a great background, not only in gaming, but she went through what she called trial by fire when she was working as counsel for the city of North Las Vegas, and they were having, one of their worst fiscal crises ever. And she helped, work with the governor, work with the mayor of the city, and shepherding the city through, what was a time of crisis, to turn things around and become, a very successful city, put it on a road to success. So, and she's pointed out, after going through that at the city of Las Vegas, that was really my trial by fire. She overcame in her own life and career what is known as imposter syndrome. And I think that's something that women suffer from a lot more than men. And that's, thinking that you're not qualified to be there. You look around, you're like, why am I here? What do I know? Do I know anything? And, going through that experience really helped her to overcome that and have a lot more confidence moving forward, which also helped her to be a great chair.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side. Sign up at jackpot.com and you can bet on the world's best lotteries where the biggest jackpots are up for grabs. Powerball, Mega Millions, some of the biggest lotteries can be found at jackpot.com. Simply choose your lotto game, pick your numbers, or use their quick pick feature, and you're done. Sign up at jackpot.com with code DRAW24 and get a free lottery ticket with your first deposit. Jackpot.com, it's the world of lotto in your hand. Terms and conditions apply. You must be at least 18 years old and in the United States to play. Void where prohibited. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Interest rates and inflation are out of control. Is your credit card debt also out of control? It's time to resolve your debt and take back control for a lot less than what you owe. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, then you need to call us right now. Debt Fix Pros can significantly reduce the amount you owe, and you could be debt-free faster than you think.
I knew we had to do something. Our debt was growing.
It was getting out of control, and we just didn't know what to do.
We saw an ad for Debt Fix Pros. We called, and they showed us how fast they could get us out of debt.
It really was amazing, and now we're back in control.
Call now, and we'll show you how easy it is to fix your debt. The call and consultation are free. Call Debt Fix Pros right now at 800-479-3522. That's 800-479-3522. 800-479-3522.
With costs going up, Adam and Eve is the best deal around. With 50% off a sexy adult product at adamandeve.com. That's 50% off right now when you point the camera on your smartphone at the code on the screen. Don't get up. Just open your camera and point it at the screen. Hurry! You'll also get 10 free gifts, including free discreet shipping at checkout. This is your chance to get more for less. So scan now for 50% off plus 10 free gifts from adamandeve.com.
You're listening to The House of Cards.
Whoa!
I think we got a show.
Oh, yeah, we got a show.
We definitely got a show.
Oh, yeah, there's a show. Hey, it's all about ratings, baby, and we got them.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishottle with you here. House of Cards is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. For those of you just joining us, I am talking with gaming attorney and author of That Expletive Broad, Jennifer Gaynor. You know, when we talk about the gambling industry, I mean, there are a bunch of branches within the industry itself. I mean, there's PR, there's player development, there's marketing. Are there areas in the gambling industry itself where women are really underrepresented to a point where companies should really be focusing on that area with regard to employment of women?
Sure, because, you know, if you look at the numbers, and this is something I talk about in my book, you know, where there might be, you know, 38% of women represented at the executive level, but you realize they're siloed into certain categories. For example, you know, you don't see a lot of women on the operational side. You don't see a lot of women on the floor. You don't see a lot of women in IT or security, you know, where you do see a lot of women are areas that are typically thought of as women industries like human resources and marketing. So, you know, and I point out in the book, you know, for women, for themselves, taking a hold of their careers, you know, one of the things they can do is look for areas where there isn't a lot of representation by women, and ask, you know, their bosses to get them training in that area or to get experience in those areas. And that's something that companies can, you know, really look for and try to encourage as well.
You know, right now, the gambling industry, certain states are allowing sports betting and online gambling. I mean, certainly we don't have the complete numbers and the research right now with regard to employment demographics. But do you think those are the next areas of gambling that have to be looked at with regard to women and their impact on the sector, of that sector of the industry?
Well, I think those are, you know, obviously growth areas for the industry. So it's, you know, extremely important for women to be involved there. Sports betting in particular has, long time very much been a man's world.
Yeah.
So, when you see women making strides and being represented there, like my friend Jennifer Roberts is, counsel at the Interactive Gaming over at the Wynn, I think that's very exciting, and you hope to see more of that.
Looking back at the women you documented in your book, That Expletive Broad, throughout history of the gambling in this country, has there been one characteristic that all these women had that allowed them to push forward in what was once a male-dominated industry? Because I found it very interesting, and you brought this up in the interview, that, they did not set out to finally end up do what they're doing. I mean, a lot of the women and most of the women didn't think, hey, I'm going to own a casino. But what characteristic pushed them forward?
I think in most cases it's a few things, but one of it is they were all extremely hardworking. They were willing to put in the hours and the time. I think Claudine Williams, who was a high school dropout, who ended up becoming the owner and operator of a Las Vegas Strip casino. That's not a path you would ever see happening. But she worked really hard. She was very persistent. She asked for what she wanted. For example, when she was a teenager, she convinced the owner at a nearby, gaming parlor that had opened up to hire her, and said that she had experience with dealing dice, which she didn't really, but he bought it and brought her on, and she became the first female dealer at that club, and that's something she did throughout her career. Is she wasn't afraid to ask for what she wanted. She worked really hard to gain the experience and the knowledge that would make her a valuable asset. So persistence, curiosity, I think, about the gaming industry and really wanting to do it, love for the game. The early women, Alice Ivers, Lottie Dino, they loved gambling. They loved poker. They loved playing, and they were very successful at it. So, it's love for the game, it's love for the industry, it's persistence, and it's the willingness to be a first in an area, to be the first woman to be a dealer, to be, perhaps not get a great reception from your colleagues. That was very important to many of their success.
Now, you're a very successful woman in the gambling business. What has it meant for you personally to research and write about the women who have come before you in this industry?
Well, first of all, it was incredibly inspiring. Because I knew there were great women out there, many of whom I knew personally, from my own experience working in the industry. But to learn about some of the other women who I didn't know about, extremely inspirational for me in writing this book. But also, it's a really great networking tool, I have to say. If there are people that you look up to in the work world and you're not sure how to approach them, if you're going to interview them for an article or a book, that's a great tool. It gets you a conversation, it gets you an introduction, and, I highly recommend it.
Jennifer, we're running out of time, but I certainly want to get your opinion on the current state of the gambling industry with regard to the pandemic. Certainly, it's been one of the most challenging times for the industry. I mean, I got to tell you, as a fellow gaming attorney, I've never before now had to draft a service contract for the cleaning and sanitizing of casino chips, but it's a very weird time. How do you see the gambling? How do you see the gambling industry emerging from this?
I think it's going to emerge stronger than ever. The gambling industry, as you know, over the years has gone through, many different changes and iterations from, kind of the lounges and the card playing that was prevalent, back in the 50s and the early days, to, the onslaught of the large slot floors that really became the moneymaker for casinos in more recent years. And I think we're going to see a change away from that. And, what exactly that will be, I don't know. Will it be esports? Will it be online gaming? Different kinds of experiences that casinos can bring to the table. I think all of it's, really worth exploring. And sports betting, of course, now that pass has been repealed, that's only going to continue growing across the country. So, I think the gaming industry, it's a dark time now. It's a difficult time now, but I think there's blue skies on the other side of the pandemic.
Jennifer, can you tell people how they can get a copy of your book, That Expletive Broad? And if you have a website or a social media address, you can give that out too.
Sure. You can find me on Facebook at Jennifer Gaynor or LinkedIn at Jennifer Gaynor. And the book is available on Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. So if you just Google That Expletive Broad, you will be able to find it online.
Jennifer Gaynor, attorney and author of That Expletive Broad. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing the stories of these incredible women of gambling with us. It's an incredible book about the gambling industry. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about it.
Thank you so much for having me, Dave. I appreciate it.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards.
Attention. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, watch this urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by hiring 87,000 new agents to garnish your paycheck and put liens on homes and businesses. They can even seize your bank account. The IRS calls it enforced compliance, and now they have the manpower to get you. Penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily. So call One Stop Tax Relief Shop and get the IRS off your back. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. And no other tax shop gets you more or faster approvals. One Stop Tax Relief has resolved thousands of cases since 2014 and saved clients millions of dollars. Call now for a free consultation. Connect with tax professionals who get the IRS off your back.
Call 800-605-0688. 800-605-0688.
One Stop Tax Relief Shop.
It's a casino. People gotta win sometime.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a giant, colorful check to deposit.
Welcome to another edition of Beatin the House. I'm Doug Weishuttle here with Dave Weishuttle. We're going to be crisscrossing the country, the continent, sometimes even the world, talking about the latest jackpots and in the casino and lottery industry. If the jackpot is $100,000 or more, we will be talking about it on this show. We're going to start off with a pair of $1 million jackpots this week.
Okay.
As a matter of fact,
good way to start.
As a matter of fact, we've got a record jackpot to start with.
A record jackpot, okay.
And I don't think we've ever had the Peppermill on this show before.
Really? Oh, the Peppermill. Yeah, no, that's a famous casino. We've been doing this for a couple of years. I don't think we've had the Peppermill
No, and I hope we see more of this. But we have a guest over at the Peppermill Resort Spa Casino playing the Golden Century Dragon Link slot machine.
Okay. Now, is this the record you were talking about?
This is the record.
Okay.
One.
All right.
$25 bet.
All right.
Turned into $1,206,622, the largest jackpot payout in the history of the Peppermill.
Wow, okay. So a little history at the Peppermill.
Now, I wonder if they count this as part, because I know they also have, like, poker tournaments and everything else. I don't think anything's ever come close to $1 million payout.
I don't know. No, I haven't heard it, but that's $1.2 million is hard to beat. Yeah,
yes.
So is there a name behind the Peppermill? I mean, it's a great name. It's an iconic casino. I'm just curious why they named it the Peppermill. I mean, there was one casino in Philadelphia called Sugar House, and they named it Sugar House because it was on the land of an old candy factory. And I'm just curious if the Peppermill was a pepper factory. I don't know, Peppermill or something. Yeah,
I believe it was. I believe it was.
Okay.
I believe it was. I think that's the backstory.
All right. Well, if someone knows the backstory, please email us that.
info@turnpikesportsradio.com.
Very curious.
Educate us.
Yes, I'm very curious.
And now we're leaving the Peppermill, and we're going back, and I can't believe we're doing this. This is the third week in a row for the Four Winds Casinos.
Wow.
Wow, look at four wins is on a heater.
4 Winds New Buffalo again.
Wow, okay.
Now, they have a bunch of different ones all over the place. They've got about 5 or 6 different casinos under the 4 Winds brand.
Mm-hmm.
This is 4 Winds New Buffalo in Michigan.
Okay.
It's not New Buffalo, New York. It's New Buffalo, Michigan.
Potawatomi? Is that
Potawatomi.
it?
No, it's the Pokagon.
Pokagon.
But it's the Pokagon band of Potawatomi.
Okay.
So you were right, but
sort of
the
right.
Pokagon band
I wasn't
of the
exact
Potawatomis.
with the.
You got the tribe. You got the Native American tribe, right?
Okay.
The Potawatomis.
Mm-hmm.
We have a $1,008,222 progressive jackpot.
Okay.
On the Ultimate Firelink Explosion slot machine, $15 bet.
Wow. And
Yes.
was it $1 million?
$1,008,000.
Wow. Okay.
And $222.
God, 4 wins. Absolutely incredible.
Well, listen to this, and we've been doing this for a couple of weeks now. Since the beginning of March 2024, 4 Winds have paid out $4.2 million in jackpots.
Well, I think we reported on all of them. My
Yes.
God. Every week. Why don't we just call this the 4 Wins segment?
They might as well just be the sponsors
Yeah,
for it.
boy.
And also, not to forget, even though this is not $100,000, they did have another jackpot.
Okay.
We have a guest from Schiller Park, Illinois, winning $80,872.92 on an 80-cent bet playing the Shamrock Fortune slot machine the very next day.
See, I like that story better because it was an 80-cent bet, which is kind of my in my range when I'm playing the slots. An 80-cent bet and $80,000.
Well, if you want to look at $15 to $1 million, 80 cents to
I know.
80,000,
It doesn't make sense, but you know what?
it kind of goes.
I
Kinda
would bet in a slot machine 80 cents before I would do $25.
But I got to see this place. 4 Winds New Buffalo.
Yeah, my God.
$4 million.
Call them up. We'll do
what is
a
it, 2 months.
We'll
2
do a
months
show
ago?
from there. My God, we talk about them
Yeah,
enough.
we actually. It's amazing. $4 million in 2 months.
Wow, unbelievable.
So congratulations to the anonymous guest from Harvey, Illinois.
Oh,
By the way, I had to look at this press release twice when I got it, because it originally said while playing the UFL Explosion. Now, I was thinking the UFL, the Football League. I didn't know the Football League had their own slot machines, but no, it was Ultimate Fire Link Explosion. They abbreviated it in the press release. I've never seen it abbreviated before.
Huh, all right.
So I thought it was the Football League.
Yeah, I guess in the slot world they could use that abbreviation.
Yeah,
So,
sports world, you get a little
Sports world,
confusion there going.
We have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, we're going to leave the casinos and we're going to go to a game manufacturer. Now, IGT always releases at the previous month's big jackpots. You know, if it's we're here in May.
So when we're talking to IGT, the IGT, we're talking about all the jackpots from IGT machines.
International Game Technology released their press release on the Wheel of Fortune, the mega jackpots.
Oh, Wheel of Fortune is probably every week we're talking about.
Both
Wheel
of these brands always pay out.
Yeah, Wheel of Fortune. My God, they have an online casino in New Jersey, so you know that one pays out.
Well, we actually covered some of these.
Yeah,
I think we covered all of them. As a matter of
okay,
fact.
all right.
These all happen.
So this is kind of a recap kind of thing.
Every time they always do a press release recounting the big jackpots of the month before. This is all for April.
Okay.
April 4th, Wheel of Fortune player, $1,794,169, playing the Wheel of Fortune Double Diamond at the Nugget Casino Resort in Sparks, Nevada. We covered that one because I remember the Sparks, Nevada angle for that. April 11th, we have a Wheel of Fortune player winning $1,106,270. Wheel of Fortune Diamond Spins 2 times Wilds.
Okay.
Now, that's another one of the offshoot of the brands there.
There are so many variations of Wheel of Fortune.
I think there's over 220.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
both brick and mortar and online.
I didn't know it was that much.
That was at the Golden Nugget in Vegas.
All right.
April 19th, we have an online mega jackpots player winning $1,108,315 playing the mega jackpots Jungle Tower on FanDuel Casino in Michigan.
Okay.
So those are the 3 big jackpots from IGT's Wheel of Fortune and Mega Jackpots.
Wow.
Now, the other one they always do is Mega Bucks, and I haven't seen that one recently, but think Mega Jackpots is taking over in the United States for Mega Bucks.
Okay. I'm getting confused with all the mega stuff.
Well, wait till we start talking lottery.
Oh, okay.
Then we got another
more mega stuff?
Well, Mega Millions.
Oh, mega.
Yes. According to IGT, Wheel of Fortune has minted over 1,100 millionaires.
Okay.
Awarded $3.5 billion in jackpots since their launch in 1996.
Wow.
They've been around for quite a while. That's almost 30 years now.
I'm almost to the point where why even go to any other machine? Just go to a Wheel of Fortune machine. And geez, my God, the amount of cash is being won there.
The Wheel of Fortune games have been around almost as long as the TV show.
By the way, you're telling me the names of them. I see Wheel of Fortune things. Yeah. I saw one with reaches to the ceiling in the gaming floor. It had
that's
the
4D. That's the 4D one.
I don't know what that. It was whatever it was, but it was had Vanna White on it. You can see it from across the gaming floor. I guess that's the point.
Exactly.
But no, it's just they're pretty popular, and for good reason, I guess.
I remember seeing one that had the curved screen that made it almost look 3D kind of. Well, I guess that's the 4D, I think.
Now we're seeing all the big machines.
Yeah.
I saw one with like a bench that could fit 3 people in front of it, so I don't know what the hell these things are.
Yeah, I don't feel like sitting with other people while playing a slot machine, but
I think it's
togetherness.
You bring someone with you, I guess.
I know one of them has them all
strangers.
tied together, and there's one big video wheel above all 3, and when somebody hits the bonus and it starts spinning, everybody looks up because it's over across all 3 of the machines.
All right, well, hey.
So that may be what you were seeing.
I have no idea what I was seeing. It was just, it was mind-blowing what Wheel of Fortune's doing in the casinos.
Well, that's it for the casino jackpots. We've got a bunch of lottery ones to talk about. And we're going to start off with a Virginia lottery story that actually is not $100,000. I'm breaking my own rule again.
All right. But if it doesn't have a $100,000 win, does it have a good story attached to it? Is that why you're doing it?
It has an extremely fortunate story attached to it.
Well, if you won the lottery, of course it's going to be a fortunate story.
Well, it all started with a fortune cookie.
Another fortune cookie thing.
Yep.
Didn't we have a fortune cookie story a couple of weeks ago? Someone opened a fortune cookie. I think it was in New Jersey. I think someone looked at the fortune cookie and something
you're going
to do well, something like I don't know what the hell it was, but and he won the lottery.
Well, according to Tierra Barley of Henrico, Virginia,
okay,
she plays the Powerball game using numbers she found in a fortune cookie a ways back. She always plays the same numbers from the fortune cookie.
You might as well. They give you numbers, or
well, they finally hit.
Oh, well, see, that's why. Good. Maybe I'll try that.
But before she could even get to that point in the story, she almost lost a ticket.
Oh, how'd she almost lose a ticket?
She went to the supermarket, got the ticket, and as she was leaving the grocery store, she realized she didn't have the ticket.
Oh.
So she looked all around. She finally went back into the store.
She left it on the counter?
She left it on the counter.
Okay.
But there was already someone there buying Powerball tickets as well.
Okay.
And she actually had to talk to the person and tell the person what's going on with her story. And the person who was buying all the tickets there said she could have her ticket. She gave her ticket.
Oh.
Yeah, he was taking the ticket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
she got it back from that person.
What was it actually her ticket?
It was her ticket.
It was her ticket.
Yeah, it turned out to be her ticket. She left it on the counter. The person.
Okay, I was like, I'd feel terrible if the guy was like, "Well, I don't know which one is yours. Here, just take this ticket," and she won.
No,
but it was her ticket.
It was her ticket.
All right.
Somehow, it was the fortune cookie numbers, so she knew the numbers.
Oh, okay. All right.
So she was all set. She got her ticket. Turns out she matched the 5 mega balls, but not 5 Powerballs. I'm sorry, I'm getting the games confused. The 5 Powerballs, but not the actual Powerball itself.
Okay, all right.
So she won $50,000.
Okay,
all because of the fortune cookie.
All right. Well, I maybe I ought to try that. I'm not a fortune cookie guy. Once I'm done with my Chinese food, I don't really go for the fortune cookie. So I guess I should.
I actually don't think of them.
Well, I just never, Well, they're okay tasting. I mean, they're not the greatest thing in the world, but if you're going to win the lottery using some of these numbers, you might as well try it.
Well, the one thing I notice a lot of horoscopes now, and especially on my phone.
You read horoscopes, really? I don't even read horoscopes.
I do this for one reason, because the horoscopes that's attached to my phone. I don't have an app for horoscopes.
Okay.
I have the weather app.
Okay.
And you tap on the weather app.
The weather app gives
They have
horoscopes?
video stories of different weather things, and they
Okay.
also do today's horoscopes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
The one thing I noticed with the horoscopes now...
Do they give you numbers?
They put lucky numbers on them.
Oh, okay.
And,
all right.
and besides, lucky color, lucky shopping item.
Lucky shopping item?
Yes.
Oh,
Today, mine was a scarf.
Man, what a marketing ploy that is.
Well,
man.
it didn't work for me today. Why am I going to buy a scarf?
What's your
lucky
thing to purchase?
My
Really?
lucky shopping item was a scarf today. Not
Scarf?
going to do that. And it's 80 degrees
In
out.
late May in Jersey? Yeah. Go buy a scarf.
It's 80 degrees out. Yeah, I'm not buying a scarf. But, they have all that. And so, I'm noticing a lot more fortunes having lucky numbers attached.
Now, are these...
They're under 70.
Under 70 what?
The numbers are under
70
for the actual lottery
I'm more
games.
curious about the lucky thing to purchase that day.
Scarf.
I mean, are these sponsored by a
No.
store
No links,
or
no
something
nothing.
like
No
that?
links, no
Why
nothing.
aren't they stores?
They probably on their actual website.
A store should get that and put a coupon attached to it.
Well, if you click on the actual horoscope, you go to the actual website of the horoscope company, which has a whole bunch of other things.
Okay.
You have to subscribe to get more detailed horoscopes.
Okay. I can't believe
these are just like little paragraphs.
I can't believe what a marketing thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
All
again,
right.
they have the lucky numbers, and the lucky numbers are all 70 and under to match the lottery games.
Okay.
So you're never going to see something higher than a 70.
There's always theories about how to win at the lottery. People always say, the numbers are higher because they know people pick their birthdays and things like that. I don't know. People have written books about how to win at lotteries. People have written books on how to win at slot machines.
Yes.
2 books I have no clue what they're coming up with. How they fill a book with, ways to win at the slots or ways to win at lottery. I don't know. It's weird, man. And people buy it.
Yeah, people always
actually buy it.
People always buy things.
The most random of games,
Yes.
and people actually buy these things.
Well, we're going to go down to Maryland now. Or is it
All
up?
right.
Is it up from
Boy,
Virginia?
did we go off on a tangent there.
Is it up from Virginia or down from Virginia?
Up
from Maryland.
Maryland is up.
Up from Virginia. I'm geographically challenged. So.
You lived in Washington for
Yes, I know.
a while.
Well, tells you how often I got out. I was working too much.
Okay.
But anyway, we're going to the Maryland lottery. We got a Maryland lottery story, and we have a lottery winner who won the lottery, and the only reason she played the lottery was because she couldn't go to the casino. She had planned to go to the casino, and something happened that she couldn't go to the casino. So instead of playing a slot machine, she went and bought the Fast Play Casino Royale slots scratch-off ticket.
Well, I'm glad it worked out for her.
Yes.
I don't think going to the grocery store and purchasing a lottery ticket is on the same level as visiting a casino.
It's
but
a slots.
Obviously, it kind of worked out.
Well, the theme is slots here.
Okay.
So she couldn't go to the casino, so she decided to play a game with slots.
And
on
how
it.
much she win?
$112,115 bucks.
Yeah,
$10 ticket, by the way, too.
She was better off buying the lottery.
Yes.
All right.
So what she did, she bought the $10 ticket.
All right.
And let me tell you the story here. She won $50 the first time.
Okay.
Put the $50 back into the lottery tickets again.
All right. Well, she was playing with house money, so
that's
good for
where
her.
the 112 happened. Right then, the next ticket she got, boom, 112,000. So she was doing the lottery. She was doing the casino thing on the lottery.
Wow, good. So, hey, good for her.
Yes,
playing with house money.
Going over to the North Carolina lottery, we've got one story from there. We've got an 18-year-old man winning the lottery thanks to his sister.
Okay,
went to the gas station. While he was waiting for the car to fill up, he gave his sister some money and said, "Go buy me a lottery ticket." She ran in, grabbed the first ticket she came across, which was a $10, and let me get the name right, Jumbo Bucks game.
Okay.
They sat in the car together, scratched it off, and it turned out to be $1 million winner.
Well, I hope he shared it with her.
I don't know. Didn't say.
Because
I would say I would assume he did.
Think so.
I would assume he did.
Nice thing to do.
Being a good brother.
Well, she chose the game.
Yeah.
He didn't. He just said, "Buy me a lottery ticket."
So
good for
but
her.
he was an 18-year-old. Thank God it was for an 18 and over.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Lottery's 18 and over.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're allowed to buy it. I mean, he was just, he didn't
he
want
didn't want to get out of the car.
He wanted to get out of the car.
He was being lazy.
I thought he
was being lazy.
All right, hey, it worked. Hey, good for him.
He should be lazy more often.
Yeah, it's good for him.
And our last story comes from the Michigan lottery. We have a man winning the Lucky Lotto 47. It's really a retail game, but this time he bought it online.
Okay.
And it turns out this ticket became the largest jackpot issued by the Michigan Lottery online.
Wow, okay.
$7.19 million jackpot. He got all 6 numbers right. It was a $1 ticket.
Wow, a $1.
You don't see a $1 ticket
I'm more surprised
too
at
often
the $1 ticket. A $1 ticket paid off $7.1 million?
Yes.
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
it's a certain game, a Lotto 47, which is a progressive that builds.
Okay.
The previous largest jackpot online was $5.75 million.
Okay.
And there were also, it was actually won by 2 people, Lucky for Life.
Okay.
Lucky for Life always pays out for a lot of people, and it's just kind of weird seeing that. But
a lot of states have that.
Yeah. But Lotto 47, largest jackpot purchased online through the Michigan Lottery. So it really wasn't it's a retail ticket, but he purchased it online.
Oh, okay, good.
So history-making purchase.
Hey,
Best dollar spent.
The last 2 were guys not even getting up from their seat.
Yes, exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. Well, that's it for this week's Beatin the House. As always, we do $100,000 or more on this show, so congratulations to the winners we did talk about, and also the winners that are all out there that are under $100,000. There are a lot more of those than there are the $100,000 sometimes, but everybody who won a jackpot over the past week, congratulations to you guys.
Well, that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time with House of Cards.
Drag a spiraling chain across the desert plain. You build a house of cards around a lover's heart. Wild country in your